unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Errol the Truth Spence, straight savage. He said no tune-up. He's going after big dogs in his first fight back since his accident. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to Patreon. Sign up for Patreon. Link is in the description in the affiliate section. So you don't want to miss out. I got some stuff coming. Holla at that link. You can also become a YouTube channel member. Hit the join button. And that's also, below this video by the subscribe button. Same perks. And we're going to get that rocking. That's what I'm building right now. The Patreon and the YouTube channel members, because I got a lot of stuff. So let's talk about it. Errol Spence was on Brian Custer's show. Shout out to Brian Custer, real stand-up dude. It's called the Last Stand podcast. And this is a direct quote. We're going to jump right into it. Errol Spence says, "I don't need no tune-up, nothing. I'm a shark, so put me in that deep water where I belong. That's where I belong. Don't put me nowhere in the pool. Put me in my natural habitat. I already told Al Heyman I could get my feet wet with the top guys." Wow. He says, "I'm hungry to get back at it. I got a lot of naysayers, people that don't think I'm going to come back like I used to. But I'm going to come back even better than I was before." Wow. Props to Errol Spence. Listen, in life, you can take risks. And on paper or whatever, it's going to seem like a big risk, but the reward will be great. This is my opinion. I've said the same thing since Errol's accident. Can't nobody tell him how to feel or how his body feels. So I told you on my channel, me, founder of New Media, I'm going to give Errol Spence the luxury of deciding what he wants to do, right? I said if he wants to come back and, get it popping with a top guy, I would respect that. There is a risk there. I'm not naive. There's definitely a risk because being in the gym's one thing, under the bright lights is another thing. And I also said if he chose to come back and he wanted to take a soft touch or, a guy at the back half of the top 10, top 15 or whatever, a tune-up fight, right? Someone he's expected to beat, then I would respect those wishes as well. And for the umpteenth time, Errol Spence has told you what he wants to do. So for me, I'm going to respect it. There is danger, as I mentioned, for him to come back and fight a Pacquiao, fight a Sean Porter 2, fight a Keith Thurman, fight anybody. Danny Garcia is the name, that probably getting the most real buzz about Errol Spence fighting him next. So there is danger. Danny is a good fighter, but there's also a lot of risk, but there's a lot of reward in that situation as well. Because Danny has a respected punch. He has a respected name. He has a good resume, and he's a terrific fighter. So if Errol Spence comes back off of injury where, like he's saying, he has a lot of naysayers. He's read the comments, people doubting him, doubting his ability, saying he ain't talking the same. If I see the comments, that Errol Spence sees him, or they come back to him, his team sees him, somebody. So Errol's a man on a mission. And that, like I said, there's danger there for sure because you never know how you're going to feel. But he stated what he wants to do. He said he already talked to Al. So that's done. Boom, out the window. That's why we're hearing the rumbles of Danny Garcia. Listen, it's on Errol. He knows his body. He knows his mentality. He knows what he's capable of. He knows his discipline and what he's willing to do in that ring. So, I'm going to take him at face value with that. But it's also a heavy reward for Errol Spence. What if he stopped Danny Garcia? I mean, he a urban legend. He's already an urban legend for surviving the car accident. You see what I'm saying? So his legend is going to continue to grow the more stuff he does, the more positive stuff that he does in his career. If he beats Danny Garcia or beats him up or beats him convincingly or stops him or looks one side, I mean, you're going to look at this kid like, what, man? It's going to make him look like bulletproof. Like, damn, you had a long layoff. You came back from something very harsh that almost captured your life. And then you went from that extreme to beating Danny Garcia. Boxers are perhaps the toughest athletes in all of sports. Like, it's just crazy. Look at Vinny Pazienza. He got in a car accident. They said he wouldn't be able to walk. And then look at him. Look at my man, Danny Jacobs. He had cancer wrapping around his spine. Same thing. They said, you might not make it. And even if you do, you're not going to be able to walk. I talk to Danny Jacobs every time I see him, and he's certainly walking. He's a terrific fighter, and he's had some good. I thought he beat Golovkin. He was supposed to be the boogeyman, I thought Jacobs won. Close fight, but I thought Jacobs won. So there's no telling a fighter yes or no or whatever. Fighters are defiant by nature. True fighters, if you have it in your heart, true fighters, they're defiant by nature. And I think that's kind of where Errol's at. Will he pay for it? I mean, it's up to what happens. He could be made to pay for it if he went in there and wasn't looking the same. Then that would be obviously a big setback for his career if he were to lose, because he got 2 titles. Danny's hungry and chomping at the bit to become a champion again, I'm sure. But again, the reward is very great, and that's to get a name guy and all the surrounding situations to prevail. I mean, Errol's going to be winning. Everyone's going to be watching Errol's next fight. I don't know if they do it on pay-per-view, probably. It don't matter. Fox pay-per-view, Showtime pay-per-view, regular Fox, it don't matter where it's at. We're all going to be watching it, us real boxing fans. I support the kid. He's doing his thing. Because it's like, no one beat him in the ring. Nobody did anything. So we have to go off of what has he done last in boxing. He had a great last year. The only thing that made his last year look a little bit grim is a bad decision and getting in that wreck. But in terms of his career, what he did in ring as a boxer, he beat Mikey Garcia down, shut him down. Like he beat him down. I was there, 12 rounds. There's no confusion. There's no Adelaide Bird scorecard. He beat him down, man down. He gave him that DeSoto man down, And then he had a very close fight and a contested fight with Sean Porter. I was also at that fight. And he got the much needed knockdown to really separate himself. So, that's the last thing he's done in boxing, like in boxing, in the ring. So that's his most recent performance. We'll see what happens. Now, I do think Errol Spence, he could possibly be better. Here's why. Knock on wood, I've had trials and tribulations. We'll just say that. I've had things that could have taken my life, but I haven't been in a car accident like that, so I haven't had that particular thing, come for me or, put me in peril. But I will say I've had those things, I've had on more than one occasion things that could have taken my life, right? And when something so severe happens to you, I feel you really get a sense of who you are when you make it out of it, when you show up on the other side, and it almost makes you grateful. Hell, look at this situation that we're in right now, especially in America, with all the riots, looting, pandemic, these types of things. You look at the recent tragedies like Roger Mayweather passing, Kobe Bryant, his daughter passing, rest in peace, number 8, number 24, Gigi. And it just gives you a new appreciation for life. And Errol Spence has talked about this, but it's kind of a given. Having that second chance, there's an Eminem song where he says, I'm not even really supposed to be here right now, so I'm not gonna mess this up. You know what I mean? He because he had an overdose or whatever. So when you get that second opportunity, that second chance, unless you're just foolish and you just keep making the same mistake over and over, you don't want to do that. And I don't think Errol, I think he's a smart guy. He has 2 daughters that love him and family and stuff. So I don't think he's looking to mess up. So it was just a real big reality check for him. He came out of it unscathed. It was a reality check. So he could actually be better, because now some of the things, whatever he was doing, feeling himself too much or whatever, that culminated and led to that night, that, crazy night, you have a new appreciation for life. You're going to try to avoid those types of situations. You feel me? So I think he could be better. Like, here's another example. He has been very candid and very open and said that he was gaining too much weight in his off season. He says he was feeling himself, eating good, and he shot up to 189, 193 or whatever. And he says he's vowed to keep his weight down. That's huge. So he could be better, because I even noticed in his 2019 fights, he's in shape. He's always in shape, but he used to look like, when he was fighting Chris Algieri, he was like no fat on him. Like there's just different types. There's like lean and really look at dehydrated lean, and there's where you shred and you look shredded, but you don't look so dehydrated. Like Devin Haney had a fight. It might have been Antonio Moran, I don't know, but it was one of Devin Haney's fight, and you could tell he was weight drained. He's young, so he's able to get the victory still and replenish, but he was weight drained. And then Devin Haney at his last fight, or the fight after that, he looked good at the scale, but there's this one where his face was looking like sucked up and stuff like that. And I feel like Errol Spence, when he's fighting Bundus, go look at those pictures. When he's fighting Chris Algieri, go look at his pictures. He was looking dialed in all the way. It didn't look like it was a hard, I'm not saying he didn't work hard, but it looked like he made his weight. Mikey Garcia, he came in at 146, a pound under. So to me, I think that's part of the blowing up in weight, and then feeling you have to cut, and then your body starts doing weird stuff, and he ended up cutting more weight than he needed. He came a pound under. It's hard to explain, and I'm not even gonna do a weight consultation video, but the bottom line is he was in shape, but when he was fighting Algieri, I think he was looking in crazy shape. I think he had a different strength and conditioning coach at that time too. I don't know. But either way, I think that would be wise, pushing 30 or whatever age he is, to not balloon up in weight as much, because you're basically having a fat camp. That's just what it is. You're having a fat camp, or at least the beginning of your camp. Instead of working on strategy tailor-made for who you're fighting, you're working on a sauna suit and running and, trying to cut weight and removing things from your diet, as opposed to just being close. Like Floyd don't got to do all that. He can just start training for perfection and strategy. So that's another big thing. Errol Spence said he's going to change that. So he could actually be better, because that's a huge thing, to not get too big in your off season. And that's what I would say to all fighters, especially when you get to a certain age, because that body start playing tricks on you, But make sure you guys sign up for ESPN Plus. That link is in the description. ESPN Plus, home of a lot of original content. They got exclusives. They got Michael Jordan stuff that didn't make the actual Last Dance documentary, but it's some interesting stuff. They got BTS original, basically films and shit. A ton of content, archive fights. Get ESPN Plus, link in the description. Buy it as a standalone, or you could get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all 3 apps for one price, $12.99. Use my link. It does help the channel. So Errol Spence, I can't wait. Me, huge fan. I'll be checking for it. I want to see the better Errol. I want to see. And here's another thing from knowing fighters personally is naysayers. Errol Spence has been winning for a minute, And what I mean is making more money and winning, and people know he's a badass. He hasn't really been in the position where he was the underdog recently. People thought, even the Sean Porter fight, people kind of were disrespectful to Sean Porter coming off the Ugas fight, because Sean Porter, I thought, could have lost that fight, and they didn't give Sean Porter much of a chance. So Errol Spence hasn't been in this role of like an underdog, you know, because people know he's nasty and he was the boogeyman and stuff like that, and he's mopping guys up, right? So he hasn't been in a while, because he beat Kell Brook years ago. They just showed the anniversary on social media. They said it happened a couple years ago. So the bottom line is, he's not an underdog in terms of a fighter, but he's an underdog because he's facing adversity of people doubting him. See, when you're not a champion, people doubt you because they've never seen you become a champion. They're like, oh, okay, he's cool, he's good, but who is he beat? So Errol Spence was hungry, because he had to prove people he can become a champion and beat Kell Brook. But, you know, we've known he's a respected champion now, so he hasn't really had that. You know, I'm not going to speak for him. I can't say he wasn't hungry, but what I'm saying is he just was feeling himself. Now he has a reason to go back to the roots, you know, and go back to that hunger, because there's some people who are saying, you can't do this. There's some people who are saying, I don't like the way you talk now. You're not going to be the same. You won't be able to take a punch. So now it puts him back in the positioning and the mindset of, he got to prove some people wrong. And that's not a bad position to be in. I know me personally, I love it. I love destroying people, making them eat their words. So Errol Spence, it's a unique position. It's kind of like Wilder. Wilder just lost his belt after 10 title defenses or whatever. Now I can't wait to watch Wilder's next fight, because I got to see how he looks. He hasn't come in as a challenger since the Stavern 1 fight. So it's all going to be interesting stuff, you know, and that's what I feel for Errol Spence as well, is he can go back to that challenger mindset, just based on people, not that he lost in the ring, but just based on the fact that people doubt him right now. You know, because they don't know what's going to happen, and they think, I've seen the video footage, there's no way he's the same fighter. So he wants to prove that, and he's going after the big fight. So salute to him. Let me know what you guys think. Will Errol Spence be the same fighter? Should he take a tune-up? Let me know those things in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.